I do want to go into now, what does this sliding scale for women look like? I want to give you guys some assurance that that these women do have levels for one, and that at each level of interest, she's going to be showing off different things that'll hopefully allow you to not be so in the dark about where she is in her journey towards building up feelings. So I have a scale here, and I'm going to actually show it on the screen here because I like showing things on the stream. So let's add this to the screen. So this is what I call the sliding scale of female attraction during the dating process. As you see, we have the scale going 1 through 10 here. And so I'm going to take you through each of these levels and what they entail. So here is the first level. This is level 1. Obviously, level 0, by the way. Level 0 is she's not accepting any dates. She doesn't want to see you. She's not interested. She's not attracted. All right. So if you're getting those kind of pushes, then she's not level 1. She's level 0. So let's get into it. So first level is minimal interest. Okay. This is a woman that will engage with you in polite conversation. She responds to your messages, but she's not going to necessarily initiate all that much contact. Like in the beginning, whether you meet her in person or on a dating app, most of the communication in the beginning is going to be initiated by you. Now, most guys overkill this because they're trying to text all the time, but I want you guys to take this as initiating for dates, all right? The primary focus of you having her number is to call or text for dates. And to that end, most women aren't trying to initiate dates with guys. If they give you the number, that means that they're willing to go on a date, but they want you to initiate the idea of asking her for the date, all right? Also, she shows up for scheduled dates, but she may not display much enthusiasm. You know, a lot of women in the beginning, they're just like, they're taking the we'll see approach, meaning, okay, I'll give them the number, we'll see what's what. And so on that first date, you might be fooled. She might be playing it cool. She might not be like being overly enthusiastic. She might be cordial, but she might not be giving you like lovey-dovey eyes and stuff like that. She's just giving you enough enthusiasm to realize that she showed up for the date and that she's there, but she's not like overextending herself in terms of showing reactions and stuff. Also, she may maintain a friendly and cordial demeanor without going beyond basic courtesies. And some guys think this is a mystery, like she's not doing a whole lot. Well, ideally, she's going to be at least showing you this much, right? Now, I will say this. With this scale in general, you will find that usually on these dates, you'll find women, you can get them to go from one level to the next. So you might have a woman that starts out at a level 1, and by the end of the date, she's at a higher level. But at the minimum, this is what minimal interest looks like. This is level 1, right? So then we go to level 2. Level 2 is mild interest, all right? So this is a woman that's going to initiate occasional conversations and or respond very promptly to your messages. She may reach out and say, hey, how you doing? Just wanted to see how you're doing today. What's up, right? So still not necessarily proposing any kind of dates, but she is at least trying to say, I want this guy to know that I'm trying to put an effort forth. Also, she shows up to dates and she engages in meaningful conversation and she displays moderate interest. This might be like, maybe she's like looking at you a certain way or she's starting to stroke her hair a certain way. Like these seemingly small, subtle signs could be indicators to you that, oh my gosh, she's starting to like really start to show a bit more interest. Not a whole lot, but a lot more than just being minimally interested, right? And then also, she also starts to share some personal experiences. A woman that's at very, very, very low interest isn't trying to like give you her whole story, but she may start to give you insights a little bit into her life story and who she is, all right? Nothing too extremely personal, but just, you know, some surface level stuff that she maybe wouldn't tell the whole world, but she's starting to feel a twinge of like, this could possibly be a thing. So I'll just give him a little bit of something to make him feel as though this is a little bit more personal than I give somebody else. So that's level 2. We have level 3. Level 3 is we have developing interest. This is where a woman starts to initiate contact more frequently and starts to show genuine curiosity about your life. So up to this point, she may have been, you know, asking you a little bit about yourself here or there. A woman at level 3 is going to start asking more about like, so tell me about your family life. Tell me about the things that you're really, really into, you know? She's also going to start investing time and effort into planning activities or outings. So this is the point where, let's say you've been taking her out on dates. It's like date 2 or 3 now. Now she might start to say, hey, you know what? Why don't, I know this great little place that's near me. Why don't we go there? Or, hey, we should spend a beach day together. That could be fun. Why don't I help plan that and get some picnic stuff together, right? So she's going to start investing time and effort into planning activities, and she's going to reveal even more personal information and emotions about various things, which is going to indicate that she now feels as though she has a growing connection to you, okay? Then we get to level 4. Level 4 is growing interest level. This is where she starts to initiate both casual and deeper conversations. This is where you're going to start to have women regularly reach out to you. Now, I tell you guys, you should be saving texting primarily for asking for dates and stuff like that. This is the phase where she's going to start reaching out to you in between dates. Hey, I just want to let you know again, I had a great time on the date last night. Hey, how you doing? I saw this meme and thought of you, or just thinking about you today. This is the level where that starts to happen. Now, like I said earlier, you could start on a first date with a woman at level 1, and by the end of the date, get her to a level 4. Like ideally, you can get a woman to a level 3 or 4 by the end of a date just by being courteous, listening to her, and really showing her a good time on these dates and trying to help yourself stand out from these other guys. You're going to find that this starts to happen. And so this is why I say you can go on a first date and it go from like level 1 to level 3 or 4. And then on the next date, take it to like a level 5 or 6. But then that third date, maybe you do something where it goes back down to level 3, where it goes back to developing interest. So now it goes back to she's still contacting frequently, but maybe the next time she contacts you, it's not as deep of a conversation as it was on level 4. And so that's why on the day-to-day of dating for those first 3 months, you got to recognize, okay, it went back a bit, but how far back? Did it go back to level 1 where she's just responding to messages, but it's not initiating? Or is it back down to level 3 where she's still initiating, but it's not as deep as it was at level 4 and 5, right? So you're not out of the running as long as you're still within these levels, Anyway, going on to, we're still level 4. So level 4, this is where she also begins to initiate physical contact. So this is like where she might be walking against you and bump up against you, or she's telling you a story and then she like grabs your hand or grabs your arm, or she's just walking really, really close to you. Like when a woman starts to build up more interest, her body and her emotions are also starting to want you physically. And this is why as a guy, the worst thing you can try to do on a first date is try to be the first one to initiate touch, because women across the board know we want to hook up, we want touch, we want to feel in their curves and all this other stuff, but she has to be comfortable with you doing that. And the way for her to signal that is for her to do it first. So again, anything that you read is like, it's just a small touch, it means nothing. Well, trust me, she's been on plenty of dates where she didn't want the guy even breathing near her, let alone walking near her, let alone trying to touch her shoulder. So she's touching your shoulder to her. That's a huge sign, albeit passive, that she's trying to show to you to let you know, I'm perfectly fine with touching. And I always tell you guys, you want to touch her at the level that she touched you. If she touched you on the shoulder, you touch her shoulder. If she touches your hand, touch the hand. If she hugs you, hug her back. The only exception of that, obviously, is first kiss, where you want to try to initiate that first. But even then, you're going to be reading signs from her throughout the course of the day and the night that indicate that she's ready for that. She's looking at your lips. She's kind of looking back at you and glancing at your face. Like those things should let you know, oh, she's ready for that kiss. But for the most part, women are going to start to initiate touch at the point where they start feeling that higher interest. So for you guys are like, it's on date 1, I can't tell where her feelings are at. If she's touched you at all by the end of that first date, it's probably at a level 3 or 4. All right. And then also, level 4, she's going to start showing active interest in your hobbies, your passions, and your goals. She might start saying things like, oh, I want to try this hobby that you do, or, oh, I can see myself helping you with this passion of yours someday. Like women that are at this level are going to say things like that because they're starting to try to get a picture of what they would look like coming into your world. It's a very great level to be at, right? So then we get to level 5. Level 5 is moderate interest. This is where you really start to shine, guys. This is where she's going to be initiating contact quite frequently throughout the course of the day. Now, that doesn't mean you got to respond to every single one, but it does mean she's trying to be in consistent contact because she just can't help herself. She just likes you so much that you're on her mind quite frequently, and she just loves being able to contact you. And also, she's going to start suggesting outings or events more consistently. So in the beginning, guys, this is why I tell you guys in the beginning, it's your job as the guy to be planning these dates without her input. But by date 3 or 4, assuming you're doing everything right, trust me, she's going to start coming with the suggestions. So if you allow yourself to be the one to primarily plan stuff, then you'll be able to get a read on where her affection is at when she starts doing that on her own accord without you having to pressure her to do it. So we want that to happen. Also, she's going to start engaging in more intimate conversations and sharing more vulnerabilities, sharing her dreams, starting to really demonstrate more physical affection and making suggestions of, hey, come over tonight because I want to do a Netflix and chill night. I want to make things romantic for you. This is where you get at that powerful level 5 level, okay? The 6th level is building a connection. This is where she starts seeking regular communication. She's starting to say to you things like, hey, I know we only have a date once a week, or she's not going to say it like that, but she'll start to notice that you guys have only had once a week dates and start saying things like, hey, so I know we have a date for Thursday, but it's Tuesday and I got tickets to this thing, or this movie's coming on Netflix that I want to see with you, or I found this really great spot and I know it's not our normal date night, but let's go out, my treat. Like that's the kind of stuff that's going to start happening because now she's starting to see that she wants you regularly in her life, and just the feeling she has for you, she's telling all her friends about what a great guy you are, and she genuinely feels that you're a great guy, right? And then also on level 6, she's going to start initiating activities that go beyond what we call the traditional dating. This is where she starts saying things like, oh, I want you to meet my family. I want you to meet my friends. I want you to meet my close girlfriends that I hang out with regularly, because she's going to start wanting to integrate her two worlds between the world with you and the outside world with friends and family that she's had for quite some time. She wants you to be a part of that now, right? And then also, this is where she starts showing supportive gestures. She starts offering assistance to you, and she starts actively listening to your concerns and things that you really care about. And this is where guys miss out, because most guys are thinking, man, those first few dates, why does it have to be all about the woman? I got to always ask her what her wants are and her needs are, and she's never asking mine. Well, as she starts to have more feelings and interests for you, she's not going to be able to help herself but to ask those things, because she, at this point, wants to know all about you, okay? So you might have to be a little bit patient, because we're ready to give it away right away, and they might need more time to see if they can even trust you enough to want to be around you and see enough consistency in you to realize, oh, yeah, this is the guy I can see myself being around because he's somebody I can depend on. And now that I can depend on him, I can see myself integrating more into his world, all right? So that's at level 6. At level 7, we have strong interest. Strong interest. And this is the level where she's going to be expressing enthusiasm and being able to plan dates, surprises for you, birthday celebrations, vacations. Like, this is really where women start to shine, where you start to realize if you get to this level, you're going to see all the stuff you thought women would never do for you, they're going to start doing. They're going to be planning date nights, paying for trips, paying for dinners. I'm telling you guys, this stuff really, really does happen. In addition to, she's going to start wanting to initiate physical intimacy more. Like, you're going to start to see, like, your girl's going to turn to a freak, because she's going to be the one more often than you that's going to be wanting sex and trying to do things that suggest that you guys should have a hookup. You're thinking you'd be happy with like once or twice a week, and she's coming to you like 4 times a week, ready to get it on and popping, because she just has that much feeling and affection to give to you. In addition to that, she's going to even make more of a stronger effort to integrate you into her life and her future plans. These are things like, hey, I'm thinking about trying to get an apartment, and I want to know how you feel about that. Should I get a 1-bedroomer? Should I get a 2-bedroomer? Hey, I think this part of the city would be great to go to. Or, hey, I'm trying to plan these 3 to 5 year goals. Where do you see yourself fitting into that? Like, women at this level will start to do those things actively, because now she's like, I don't ever want to get rid of this guy. I can't picture him not being in my life. And so I got to start making plans for what that looks like, And we're still at, this is just level 7. We're not even at the 10th level yet, because it goes to level 10. So level 8. Level 8 is high interest, right? This is where you're close to the level where you can do darn near no wrong, right? But level 8, this is where she's going to be initiating frequent contact. And this is where I tell you guys, like, on average, you want contact with women as it pertains to like texting and stuff to be 3 to 1, meaning for every 3 times that she initiates, you can initiate 1 time. And the reason I say that is because when women get to this level, they're going to be contacting you nonstop, to where if you're matching her level of initiating contact, it's going to be overkill. So you want her to be the one to do that, but she'll do that by herself without you having to push it. Once she gets to level 8, right? She'll be sending like random thoughtful messages throughout the day. Hey, babe, just wanted to say that I really care about you and admire you. Or, hey, babe, thanks again so much for that date last night. Like, you really put your effort in, and I can totally see that you really do care for me. Like, because in addition to being physically intimate with you, she's also going to be verbally intimate. Now, as I tell you guys, you need to be more about action. So leave the verbal signs of emotion and care to her. Again, 3-to-1. For every 3 times she says, I love you, you say it 1 time, but you do the opposite with actions. You should be doing actions more so than she is that show that you care for her at this level. But anyway, so that's one. Also, she's going to be engaging in acts of service and basically going above and beyond for you. This is like, buying you groceries just to say, hey, I thought you'd be helped out, so I got some groceries. Or I was at the store and saw this thing and thought of you that you might like it. Or, hey, babe, I know you were talking about doing this thing for your business. Well, I reached out to these various contacts and think it'd be a good way for you to better further that. Like, that's the level, because now she's like, not only do I see myself integrated, I see myself as a potentially good helpmate. And I want to make sure he knows that I'm going to be there for him to help him out on his journey as much as he is being there to help me out on mine, right? And this is also where she will be consistently displaying physical affection and expressing verbal admiration. Women at this level cannot help but want to be near you physically, want to be able to tell you all the time how much they care about you, because they just had that in them to do that. It's just such a high level, So that's the 8th level. And then we get to level 9, intense interest. You thought level 8 was intense. Level 9 is more intense. This is where we get into, they are regularly complimenting you. They cannot help themselves, and almost every other thing coming out of their mouth is like, you're so great. You're so wonderful. That's a great idea, babe. Way to go. I'm so proud of you. You make me such a better woman. Like, it's going to be practically nonstop like a waterfall. Also, this is where they're making concentrated efforts to prioritize the relationship, both in time and resources. So these are things like, hey, babe, we should do this couples retreat. Or we should, possibly go to therapy because I want to make sure that we're on the same page all the time. Hey, babe, I got this extra bonus money at my job and I want to spend it on us. They have resources they get too, and they're going to want to devote a good portion of those resources now to you and your relationship, because she's seeing it not just as giving to you, she's seeing it as giving to the whole of the relationship. And then also she's going to be initiating acts of care and going above and beyond to support your needs. Okay. And then we get, of course, to level 10. Level 10 is complete devotion. This is where she initiates contact consistently and ensures open lines of communication at all times. She is showing unwavering, undying support, loyalty, and commitment. This is the levels where, let's say she has like guy friends that you've expressed, for example, that, this guy friend over here, I think he has a crush on you. She will get rid of him. If you say something like, hey, I realized that our money's been going a certain place and I want to do something else with it, she's there for you. Hey, I'll be there for you 100%. Or let's say at this level, you're going through trying times, you get fired from your job or things aren't going the way you want to, right? She'll be there. She'll be loyal to you. She'll support you. She'll help figure out ways to help you during the course of this, negative time in your life to make sure that you see that she's still devoted to you. And she's able to make significant sacrifices and take care of your well-being, right? Now, this is a sliding scale, right? Because in the course of a long-term relationship, the reality is her interest in you and her level of interest is not going to just always stay at one point. Like, just because she gets to level 9 or level 10 doesn't mean it can't ever go back down to a 5. Let's say she's at a 10, right? She's devoted, she's loyal, she's supportive. And then you come home one day and you're in a bad mood or attitude and you sort of kind of kick the cat, like the world's been beating you down, and you say some off-putting remark to your girl that you didn't mean to, right? Well, it could be taken down to a 7. She might still, be at that level where she's expressing enthusiasm and being with you and planning surprises, but it's not at the same level because there was, some conflict there. When she's not feeling heard, or when there's a conflict, or when she's going through just like a transition in her life, because, we all go through transitions. Women have various transitions, whether it's they're having kids, they're going through menopause, they're, starting to get older. So at any given time, the level is not going to always be at the same, but as her feelings solidify more for you, what you'll find is that it's going to more often stay at the higher levels than the lower levels, okay? And so this is a good thing to know for the dating phase specifically, is that the reality is getting her to level 10 could take time. Like, you date a girl for 3 months, she might have solidified feelings for you, and that interest could still be at a 7. It might take you a whole year and a half of dating before she gets to the complete 10 level, right? But it's important to know this because, again, as long as you are aware that her interest is a sliding scale, it's not like guys where it's like, she did X, Y, and Z, boom, I'm out, I'm done, I don't want to talk to her anymore. Most women are going to have levels. So for you guys that are say you're in a relationship where things are in turmoil, you're thinking you've had months of fights now and things aren't going your way, and so therefore she's just completely out. Again, recognize that you still have a shot, because most women aren't just going from I completely had level 10 feelings from one day and then he messed up and the next day I'm down to 0. That's not how that works. What typically happens is she's at a 10, you did some stuff to mess up, and she doesn't want to leave the relationship, but she's definitely been hurt. She's not feeling heard. She's feeling that some emotional safety's gone away. And now she's back down to a level 4 where she's willing to have deep conversations, but not at the same level that she was because she doesn't completely trust you. So this is a good thing to know because it means that as long as you're able to know what the scale looks like, you can say, okay, today she was at a 9 and then I came home and did some stuff. So now she's at a level like 5 or 4, but she's still in the game. So as long as I'm able to I can still turn this ship around and get back to being that guy that she trusts. Maybe we can bump it up by the end of the day to like a level 5. All right. So look at her interest in you more as a sliding scale that on any given day can be at a certain level. Understand that the slide's going to be more in your favor as she knows you more to where it'll stay consistently if you're consistently in the 6 to 9 range of her emotions, you're generally having a pretty good relationship. All right. But if there's a day where you're cranky or moody, recognize that a woman that loves you and cares for you and has time built in with you, at the most, it's going to go down to a 5. Now, at the point where it goes back down to a 1, then you are in some serious, serious trouble. And you got to start looking at what you're doing wrong that's causing her to feel that way. Because as much as we want to blame women for, oh my God, but they have a part in this too. Yes, they absolutely do. They have a part and how your relationship's going and how she's showing up and how she's interacting with you and how those conversations are going. But as the guy that's trying to be the leader in this relationship, you still need to be aware of what are those various conversations and things doing to her level of interest and where is it at on the scale at any given time. And if you see it starting to go down to like a 3 or a 2, then what conversations need to be had and what changes need to be made to get it back up to that 6 to 9 level, because you want her to stay there because that's the levels where you're going to have a generally good relationship and she's feeling loved and cared for and she's thinking the world of you and wants to do everything she can to let you know that you are the guy that she ultimately wants. All right. So hopefully, guys, that helps you out in terms of knowing a woman's levels and stuff like that.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high class man. You a high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high